Imagine this for a moment. A nation that looks unstoppable on the surface. Factories running day and night. Unemployment erased, highways stretching across the country, military parades designed to hypnotize the world, and a leader promising a 1,000-year empire. But behind all of that power, there was a secret, a financial illusion so fragile that once it cracked, everything collapsed at once. What if Nazi Germany wasn't powered by economic genius, but by hidden debt, fake growth, and a massive lie? A lie that could only survive as long as war never stopped. Stay with me, because once you understand how Hitler funded his war machine, you'll realize the Third Reich was already bankrupt before it ever reached its peak. When Adolf Hitler came to power in 1933, Germany was broken. The country was crushed by the Great Depression. Millions were unemployed. Factories were silent. The memory of hyperinflation from the 1920s still haunted every family. People had lost faith in money, banks, and politicians. Hitler didn't just promise pride and revenge, but he promised jobs, stability, and economic revival. And at first, it looked like he delivered. Unemployment numbers dropped fast. Construction projects exploded. The German economy appeared to come back from the dead almost overnight. To the average citizen, it felt like a miracle. But miracles in economics usually hide a cost. What most people never saw was that this recovery wasn't real in the normal sense. It wasn't built on savings, productivity, or sustainable growth. It was built on debt that didn't officially exist. Hitler hated traditional finance. He didn't trust international bankers, gold standards, or open markets. Instead, he wanted full control. So his government created a shadow financial system that allowed massive spending without showing it on the books. This is where the illusion truly began. The Nazi regime needed to rearm fast, but Germany had a problem. The Treaty of Versailles limited military spending, and foreign lenders didn't trust Germany anymore. Printing money openly risked another hyperinflation disaster. So Hitler's finance minister Joel Schacht came up with a trick. The government created fake companies that issued special promissory notes. These notes were used to pay arms manufacturers instead of cash. On paper, they looked like private business transactions. In reality, they were government IOUs. Factories accepted them because they believed the state would eventually pay. Banks accepted them because the government guaranteed them, and the public never saw them as debt. This system allowed Germany to spend enormous amounts on weapons, tanks, planes, and ships. Gold reserves were thin. Without expansion, the entire system would collapse. So Hitler didn't just want war for ideology or territory, he needed it financially. Conquest was the business model. When Germany invaded neighboring countries, it didn't just seize land. It looted central banks, gold reserves, factories, and raw materials. Austria's gold disappeared into Berlin. Czechoslovakia's industry was absorbed overnight. Later, Poland, France, and others were stripped of wealth. Occupied nations were forced to pay for the cost of their own occupation. Their economies were drained to keep Germany alive. This made the illusion stronger, but also more desperate. Inside Germany, the economy became a war machine. Civilian consumption was restricted. Wages were controlled. Prices were frozen by law. On the surface, inflation looked low. In reality, shortages were growing everywhere. People waited in lines. Black markets exploded. The true cost of living was hidden behind ration cards and fear. The government kept the illusion alive through strict control and propaganda. As the war expanded, the financial pressure became unbearable. Germany lacked oil, rubber, and key metals. To solve this, the regime turned to forced labor and synthetic production. Millions of prisoners were used as slaves to keep factories running. This reduced wage costs, but destroyed productivity. A worker who is starving and beaten does not innovate. The economy became brutal and inefficient. Output numbers looked strong on paper, but quality collapsed. By 1942, Germany was trapped. The war was costing more than conquest could pay for. Bombing campaigns destroyed factories and transport. Oil shortages crippled the army. The hidden debts were no longer hidden. The government printed money aggressively, but price controls masked the inflation. Savings lost value silently. The middle class was being wiped out again, just like in the 1920s, but this time without headlines. What's important to understand is this. Nazi Germany never had a long-term economic plan. It was a short-term illusion fueled by debt, theft, and violence. It depended entirely on constant expansion. The moment expansion stopped, collapse was guaranteed. When Germany began losing territory instead of gaining it, the system reversed violently. Resources vanished, revenues collapsed, expenses exploded. By the final years of the war, the economy was pure fantasy. Cities were rubble, currency was nearly meaningless. Soldiers were paid in money that couldn't buy food. The government kept issuing orders, but the financial system was dead. When the Third Reich finally collapsed, it didn't fall like a strong empire defeated by force. It imploded like a bankrupt company that had been lying to its investors for years. This story matters because it shows something dangerous and timeless. You can fake growth. You can hide debt. You can manipulate numbers. You can create the illusion of strength. But reality always collects its payment. The Nazi war economy didn't fail because it lost battles. It lost battles because it was already failing. If you're finding this breakdown valuable so far, make sure you like the video and subscribe to Bioforge. It helps the channel grow and tells the algorithm you want more deep stories like this. We break down power, money, and collapse in ways most history channels don't. The biggest lesson here is not about tanks or generals. It's about finance. An economy built on lies requires control. Control requires force. And force eventually destroys the system it tries to protect. Hitler's empire wasn't defeated only by armies. It was defeated by math. Today, we often hear about hidden debt, artificial growth, and systems that only work if nothing goes wrong. History doesn't repeat exactly, but it does rhyme. The Third Reich is one of the clearest examples of what happens when a government replaces real economics with illusion and intimidation. If this story made you see history differently, hit like before you go. Drop a comment with your thoughts or what topic you want next. And share this video with someone who loves deep history and hidden truths. On Bioforge, we don't just tell stories, we expose the systems behind them.